everybody. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to another episode of The Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I am thrilled to have you all here today. We have a very special, close to the heart guest joining us. This person is not only a beloved part of our Breakthrough Show family, but also an incredibly talented spiritual artist. She is the passionate creator behind Sacred Yin Secrets. And as an artist, intuitive healer, and visionary creator, her journey is a testament to the transformative power of creativity. From the allure of press-on nails in 2020 to embracing the path of healing as a Reiki practitioner in 2021 and expanding her artistic horizons to canvases and wood in 2022, her story is one of resilience, beauty, and infinite creative imagination. Her work celebrates the natural world and the inner landscape of the human spirit, encouraging all of us to embrace our unique creative gifts. You've seen her on Project Joy Live. You've probably attended her craft circles. If you haven't, you're missing out. She is an amazing help to me behind the scenes here on the Breakthrough Show Network. And honestly, this should have been done sooner. I knew it was time to bring her here to the big stage here on the Breakthrough Show. So without further ado, please put your virtual hands together and welcome Brittany Floyd to the show. Welcome, Brittany.
Oh, that was cute. Thank you. And
see, we had to rein it in and not do our Project Joy Live, Brittany. Brittany, welcome, because that one we get a little rowdy on Project Joy Live. For those of you that haven't seen the morning show, get a little rowdy there. So we reined it in a little bit, but I'm so glad that you're finally here to do this particular show today because, I mean, you see how different the shows are really behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful to be here. I'm on the big screen now.
That's it. It's time for the big stage. It's time for the big stage. Well, we're going to make an assumption that there's going to be somebody watching this episode that doesn't actually know who you are. So I would love for you to start out by sharing with everyone where you're joining from, and then share with us what that word breakthrough means to you.
Okay, well, I am joining from West Virginia. Hello, everyone. And the word breakthrough, it's like finding that missing puzzle piece under the couch and suddenly feeling like a genius detective. Or it's like turning on the lights in a room you didn't even know existed in your mind, and suddenly it's like party time, Yeah. And then, it's a breakthrough. To be on the more serious note, a breakthrough is when you push through the limits and discover something new about yourself or the world around you. It's like a moment of profound growth and understanding,
Yeah. Yeah. I actually love the first part that you shared about it being like a puzzle piece that you find underneath the couch that's been missing, because one, that says that the breakthroughs have been there all along. It's just a matter of finding them. Sometimes we find that piece and the piece is covered in all kinds of nastiness because it's been underneath the couch. And so sometimes there's more work to be done in uncovering the piece. And then ultimately, see, I love an analogy. You did a good thing there with the puzzle piece. And then the last part of it, I feel like is once you find that piece, what's your choice going to be? Are you going to go just put it back in the box? You're going to go ahead and put that puzzle together? What are you going to do with it? And that's where we start asking those important breakthrough questions. I'm going to assume, because that's just how it works here, that you've had several breakthroughs throughout your journey and probably not done yet.
Yeah. I've definitely had a great deal of amount, even from a young age, of breakthroughs in my life. And I know I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Hey. Hey, Nancy.
Love it. Yeah. I mean,
So,
we all have those, they continue. I don't think we ever arrive at a certain place. That's why that word journey sometimes throws me off a little bit, because a journey usually entails that there's something we're trying to get to, like we're reaching something at the end. So I'm not really sure if it's I don't know. One day I'll find a word that I like that I like
yeah.
better than journey. Maybe experience. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
The human experience, I feel like, is more suiting than just the
Yeah.
journey. It's a human experience because everything that we do every day is an experience.
Yeah.
Every day that we wake up is an experience. So.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. I'm excited. Miss Nancy's here, as I showed. Miss Tracy is here. Happy Friday to you, Miss Tracy. Good to see you. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to dive into something that we haven't really done with Brittany on our show so far. And that's a little bit into her journey of how she got to where she's at today. Plus, we'll talk about creativity. I'm sure of it. And we'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
On April 4th, I was 90 years old, grandson of slaves. My parents were first generation free. A long time ago, I embraced the definition of love. Love is the experience of well-being. And a friend is one who mutually shares that experience of well-being with you, which opens up almost infinite creative possibilities.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to The Breakthrough Show. It is Friday, August 2nd, 2024. We're here today with creative spiritual artist Brittany Floyd. She's also, she's basically a celebrity behind the scenes of The Breakthrough Show. Everybody knows who Brittany is. Everybody knows me at this point, knows who Brittany is. And even new people that come and meet us, well, my kids and I will be talking about Brittany, and then eventually somebody will go, who's Brittany? Like, trying to figure it out. So I'm so glad that she's finally here on the big screen, on the big stage for the Breakthrough Show today. And I think where I would like to start this part of the conversation is going back and chatting with Lil Brittany for a minute. And I would love to know, as a child, talk to me about what creativity looked like for you at that point in your life.
Yeah, so from a very young age, I was always surrounded by creativity. Um, from my mom, she was a single mom, so a lot of times, we didn't grow up with money, so a lot of times we had to budget in things, and that's where she got creative with her home decor. We always, like, no matter where we lived, we always had a nice place. She always made it homey from the things that she used to decorate, and then she also used to put me in pageants when I was like about 9, 10 years old, and she used to make all my outfits, which just opened up, she put me in pageants to try to get me out of my shyness, which didn't work, didn't work very well, but yeah. That was from a young age. I was always inspired by creativity because I was surrounded by it. So.
Yeah. What would you say, like growing up, what were the ways you feel like you got to be creative other than witnessing it and seeing it outside of you? What were the ways that you liked to be creative then?
I think a lot of times I would be outside playing, so I would use my imagination a lot. When I would make stories about looking up, on the trampoline outside and looking up at the clouds, and I would make stories up about the clouds and what they look like to me, or like what I would see in the trees, or like, I rode bikes all the time, so we would be riding bikes and we'd go into the woods and there'd be caves there. So I would make up stories about being in the cave, stuff that dealt with nature. That was like growing up for me when it comes to creativity.
Yeah, I mean, I think, even though I'm a little bit older years wise, I feel like even in the time when you were younger, it wasn't like the internet wasn't a big deal yet. Even though it was present, it was there. It wasn't a big thing yet. Do you feel like, those of us who were raised during that period of time, do you feel like it's like easier for us to get to a space of creativity because we had to use our imaginations a little bit more? Or do you feel like it sort of evens out because the kids now are exposed to so much, more information at an earlier age?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's definitely about equal, like we we have a sense of creativity that we could tap into our imagination, whereas, for kids nowadays, everything is on front screen. So like it's in their face, whereas when we were growing up, we had to find that, like, we would have to find sticks and learn and come up with a game to play, like stuff like that. Whereas now, they don't have that. But I still feel like, in the world nowadays with technology, it could be so useful because it allows children to have that safe space, like to where they feel comfortable to be themselves. So I do see technology as a great thing in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be like anything else. Just like if we went outside forever and never came in for dinner, or never didn't do anything didn't do our homework. We didn't do our homework because we was out playing too long. Yeah. There's always like that limit, I feel like, to no matter what we're talking about, of like, okay, maybe we need to to rein it in a little bit here. But I feel like with creativity, where that is concerned, did you, as you were getting older and going into adulthood, did you remain connected to like your creative self? Or talk to us about some of the experiences, but in the period of time, like after childhood, before you got to where you decided, I'm going to do this art thing, that interim period, talk to me about what creativity looked like for you during that time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't really have. I don't think that I experienced creativity in the way that I do now. Like I don't tap, didn't tap into it. I became a mom at a very young age. I got pregnant when I was 17, which that in itself led to personal breakthroughs there. And then
Yeah.
in 2019, I was a home health aide, and that's when kind of like things kind of took a shift for me, because that's when my client had introduced me to angel numbers, which opened up to like this whole new perspective of things. And then but however, due to scoliosis, I had to leave that job, which kind of left me feeling depressed and not really, and in a sense of guilt, and because I wasn't able to provide for my family the way that I'm used to, and that period of loneliness and everything, that is what was a really breakthrough for me, because that's when I started to do my own nails, and just to give me something for myself,
Yeah.
just to make me feel a little bit better about myself. And it just, nails have that, like, that excuse my language, kids cover your ears, but that bad bitch activation,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
It has that. It gives you that confidence boost. And as the more that I began to explore with it, COVID happened shortly after that. And then I was like introduced to this whole world of press on nails. And I was like, oh, I could do this for a living. And that's when it really took off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing though that you were able to use that period of, because look, you and I both know people who get in a rut. Maybe they get a diagnosis that's tough for them. Maybe they lose their job. Maybe they're going through a season of grief and they don't necessarily come out of it. Like they kind of just get stuck and stay there. And so I love how in your situation, you really took the reins and started first taking care of yourself, giving you that activation, with the nails, and then going like, hey, I could make other people feel like this too and help out with that instead of getting stuck. Was there anything what was your driving force for that? Is it just Brittany being who she is and determined, or were there things that were like, no, I've got to keep my head above water?
Yeah, I definitely, of course, my children always is that motivation for me to keep my head above water. And I just wanted something better for myself. I didn't want to keep continuing to work for somebody else and then barely get to see my kids, and the more that I think about it, it's like, when they're in school and everything, and then with work, you only get to have them for 18 summers. That's it. And that was like that real, like, okay, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going, like, it was that belief in myself, even though like I still was scared, to continue to move forward. And that's not to say that that feeling doesn't go away. Like I feel more confident now, but it's still scary. It's still scary and a bit. But I look forward to moving forward and seeing what I'm really capable of. And that's.
Yeah. I love it. And it gives you, you talked about the, getting the diagnosis of scoliosis. It's interesting because when I found out that that's what you had, what your diagnosis was, I remember as a kid having to go to, now maybe they stopped doing this at some point. Every year we would do this little checkup thing at school, and the nurse would have us bend over, touch our toes, and would check all the kids for scoliosis. Did y'all have to do that too?
Yeah, we did. And I struggled, I struggled throughout high school with the pain. but it wasn't as bad when I did home health, because I was lifting all that weight, and
Right.
I didn't have he didn't have the necessary tools needed as much as I was pushing forward for them, for them to get it. I still felt like, I wanted for him to have a piece of life. So I was selfless in that matter of trying to get him into the shower, as much as possible as I could
Yeah.
take it. But it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And it got to the point I couldn't even leave my bed for days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And so ultimately, like, getting to do something where you can still allow yourself to be creative, you're still helping other people, but you're doing it in a way that you can still take care of yourself at the same time. Now, is it on the tough pain days, because you and I have both had those, and we've talked a lot about the real human things that come up when we're in a lot of pain or dealing with a lot of inflammation. What are some of the things that you do for yourself on the days where you really just don't wanna, you just can't?
sometimes it just depends. I ask
Yeah.
myself, what do I need? Because sometimes I don't know what I need. So I have to stop and just maybe lay there and just ask myself, what does your body need right now? What do
Mhm.
you need right now? And then I listen, whether that's sitting on a massage chair, or just sleeping, resting, taking a bath, whatever I feel like is going to be helpful to me and be beneficial to me. I just show myself a little bit more love during those times.
Yeah.
And it's hard to accept, a lot of those times. It's hard to accept when your body's in pain, but like, you know, emotionally and mentally, you feel so good. You feel so good inside, but then that pain overrides so much sometimes. So it's hard to get out of that
Yeah.
mindset sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was going through some stuff senior year of high school, even for my mental health. Um, One of the things that I really sticks out to me during that time with the different therapies and stuff that I was trying was how much I really enjoyed the art therapy, because I didn't have to repeat the story for the 900th time. I didn't have to talk about anything, but yet all of that stuff that I was going through and experiencing seemed to be magically leaving my body with every stroke of paint or every shaping of something. And so, like, have you noticed that with yourself, that it has been healing for you at all, not just in a physical way, but the mental toll that having physical challenges takes on you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And on those days, I even find myself painting in bed,
Mm,
because it's just, I make myself as comfortable as I can get, lay out something and just paint away. And it definitely has improved creativity. No lie, hands down, has improved my life like 100%, like 100%. And it was just a matter of just doing something for myself that made me feel good. That now is like, it's opened me up to a whole new world.
yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I want to switch gears and kind of go back a little bit in your story, because you mentioned about doing nails and everything. At what point, or was there anything in particular that had you moving in from just doing nails to wanting to bring in other forms of art?
Yeah. So in 2021, I got introduced to Reiki, and that just opened a whole nother can of worms within itself.
As it
And
does.
yes, it does. And I went through, like, I want to say, a shadow period for a good 2 years after I got, like, even though I was in the process of that rebrand, because Reiki had opened, it heightened all my senses. It opens
Mm.
me up to have a whole nother level of awareness, I feel like, with Reiki. And it just, it had me really going within myself. And I had sat for a couple of years in that shadow period of having emotional meltdowns in the corner,
Yeah.
and then just all of a sudden, like, but through all of that, like, I still continued to keep up with my creativity.
Mm.
That's when I was like, I want to do more than just nails. So then that's when I started doing, on canvas painting, and it's just led to this whole beautiful thing. And now, I do craft circles and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to us about where you get your inspiration from for the art in general. I mean, I know you do a lot of commissioned pieces, so it's like whether it's nails or some art has been commissioned as well. And so in those cases, you're like taking guidance from what the customer wants. But for your pieces you just create and sell, or your nail sets that you just create and sell, where do you find your inspiration for those things?
Everyday life. Go outside in nature. Being and growing up in West Virginia, we have hills and mountains and these beautiful landscapes. So I often find myself, as a small child, and just everything being so whimsical,
Mm.
in these mountains and in the hills and even in my backyard, and that's kind of where I'll just allow it, that's where it's inspired from. Then also other people too. I get inspired from other people too, and animals and everyday life.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. What are some of the things that you might be able to suggest to people that say, I'm just not a creative person. I can't like come up with an idea. I don't even know where to start creatively. Like, what are some of the things that you can suggest for people who feel like, maybe I want to be more creative, but I don't feel like I can be.
I would say just go for it. Doesn't matter where you start. As just whether you just sit down for 5 minutes and just doodle, scribble, color, just anything to, and then it will come to you. It doesn't have to, just being present in that moment. And that's the beautiful thing about art, right? Is that nobody knows what it's supposed to look like except for you. So
Yeah.
you're your own judgment of character. So you could have all these emotions, and then all of a sudden just take paint and just splatter it, because that's how you're feeling, and that's art.
Yeah.
That's your creative expression. So I would say just sit down and just try it. Just
Yeah.
try it, and just allow, and just come from, try to think of it as a place of joy. Like, this is me. It's like therapy. Like, I'm getting all of this out on this paper, or painting, whether you're writing, whatever way that you feel like, cooking, gardening. There's the list of creativity is endless. So
Yeah.
I would say just go for it. Just give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I wanted to have you go through and talk about your favorite mediums, like whether it's, just talk to us about the different mediums, and like maybe some of what are some of your favorite things about those mediums? Like, why nails, why canvas, why whatever things you want to mention.
Okay. Well, nails. I think I kind of, it's just one of those things that we live in a world where it's not always, women don't always empower other women. However,
Mhm.
I live in that world. I live in the world of where I want to empower other women. So that is kind of like my sort, like that push that I want
Yeah.
to help empower other women, because I realize the effects that it has done for me, and I want to be helpful in that way to them as well. And painting, it's acrylic painting. I use acrylic painting. I haven't really tried any other paintings yet. I think it's just because from nails it's acrylic, so kind of to the canvas, like it's kind of the same kind of medium, kind of just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And it just allowed me to be able to express myself freely,
Mm.
just how my brain goes. I'm weird, my brain goes
Yeah.
all over places. So I travel to all these places that I put into the paintings. And then, when I meditate and all of that stuff, that's, can be my source of inspiration as well. And just wood, I don't know. It's just a different kind of surface. I'm still using acrylic painting, so it's still,
Yeah.
I want to be able to put that joy that I have in the paintings and be able to bring joy to somebody else's home.
Yeah. Yeah. See, now looking back, I remember the days when we were trying to move, when you were moving from Nail Beauty by Brittany and trying to come up with a new name. I feel like as many times as you said acrylic in there, we could have included that word. It's some kind of way. I'm like thinking, man, the whole time I'm like sitting here going, what could we have made out of that word? What could we but then you'd be boxed into just acrylic shit. But here we are. It's just one of those funny things looking back. Talk to us about the name, because when you were just doing nails, it was Nail Beauty by Brittany, and then the newest business name is Sacred Yen Secrets. Why that name? Because I could sit there and talk about how many hours, days, and nights we went back and forth about this behind the scenes, just like we do with some for the Breakthrough Show. But talk to us about the significance of that name and why.
Well, we had, I had gone through several friends, and it was like, what do you think? And I gave them a list of names.
Yep.
And you really stood out to me when you had said that you really like Sacred Yen Secrets, because it's that part of your journey, or now we're going to use it, your experience is a secret. You can share all this information like I am with you today about, my journey, but nobody truly knows what I went through and what I felt except for me. So it's a secret. And that sacred yin, that embodiment of the divine feminine, that's me. I'm all the way 100% there. So then that's kind of how the name formed together. So.
Yeah, I love that. That was a fun time, because it was, speaking of creativity, it was such a creative process to sit down, take into account who you are, what are those things that you love to do, what are the things that mean most to you at this point in your journey. And as we finished on Sacred Yen Secrets, it felt very similar to when I was trying to come up, anytime I've tried to come up with stuff for the Breakthrough Show Network, where you kind of get to where you're settled on, this is absolutely wonderful for right now. Because me, I have to work on, letting go of needing something to be forever, so like feeling like, but what if something changes later, and then I've got it, like, it's okay, it could change later. How do you I'm imagining there's moments you're going through doing a piece of art and you got to make a decision. What color am I going to use here? Or what direction am I going to go? That's why I personally struggle with art from scratch, because I end up at that point where I'm going, but what if I don't like it later? How do you talk us through like your process of painting and how you work through some of those moments?
It's not easy. Because I still to this day I have, year old painting sitting there collecting dust because I don't know which direction I want to
Yeah.
take with it. But I've really come to really understand and value community in this. And the craft circles are really helpful because we could come together and we inspire and we can seek that advice from other creative individuals that maybe you aren't looking at the time, or like, oh, that's genius, I should, yes, that source of inspiration, or seeking advice. The craft circles have really been helpful in that, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Talk to us about Craft Circle, because that's one of the events that we have twice a month in the Breakthrough Show Network virtual community. And what happens in Craft Circle? What's the point of the Craft Circle? And then, of course, letting everybody know how they can join into them.
It goes down in the craft circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so the craft circle is basically an event, a virtual event where we come into this beautiful artist room together, that the Breakthrough Show Network has to offer. And you literally bring your own craft. And we sit there and craft for 2 hours.
Mm.
And then we have conversations throughout the time. We also have music up there if you would like to listen to music that nobody else can listen to. And then just enjoy each other's creative company, even if you don't know what you want to do. Say you're feeling stuck, you want to be creative, just come and soak up the creative energy within there, because it's definitely inspiring.
Yeah.
When you combine that creativity with community, create this powerful synergy that can lead to personal breakthroughs. Perhaps maybe you've been stuck and somebody else, like say you crochet, right? And say someone else joins the craft circle that crochets, and maybe they have a different stitch that you haven't learned that technique from, and you could easily learn that in the craft circles, or painting, or just it's just a beautiful space that we have created in the community.
I want to ask you a deep question about Craft Circle, and we did not prepare for this. I didn't be like, Brittany, now rehearse this answer, but I think that this question is really important because, look, we're, especially as parents, we're busy. Kids are running all over. We are mom's taxi. Some of us have partners who are trying to manage stuff with that. Some of us are entrepreneurs. We've got that going on. Or maybe we work outside the house. We're wearing a lot of hats. We don't have a lot of time. There are some days maybe a shower is skipped, a meal is skipped, something like that, because we've got a lot going on. Why should people make time for the craft circle? Why does it even matter?
Well, for one, just there's several different ways that creativity can improve your life. I feel it definitely reduces stress. Engaging in creative activities like painting or crafting, it helps lower your stress levels. It's like a form of meditation that allows you to unwind and relax. Not to mention, as a mom, we really have to think outside of the box with things. And as a parent in general, when it comes to our children, we have to often think outside of the box, and it really enhances your problem solving skills as well. And it encourages mindfulness, your overall emotional well being. It encourages personal growth. It allows you, we as parents, and especially as single mothers, or just a mother in general, or parent in general, we get so caught up in our children. It's like we're consumed by our children often. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's true. Like, our life revolves around our children. If you're a good parent, like,
Yeah.
and it just, it's good for us to be able to express it's good for us to be able to express our emotions, and to be able to just kind of form a relationship with a deeper part within yourself, really. So
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's a great time for y'all to sit down and take some notes on all of that beautifulness that you just heard right there. So good. So good. We're going to listen to Dorothy O'Jays for a love poem. By the way, today would have been Dorothy's birthday. So we're wishing her a heavenly happy birthday. And we're going to listen to her for a love poem and come back to finish up with Miss Brittany Floyd. Don't go anywhere.
I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart. I shall stand for love, for the world is wounded, not just my little piece of land, where I am mostly safe, where I am mostly well, but our world, everywhere, every day. I shall stand for love, because we need more light, not more death, not more power, not more bombs. I shall stand for love, so that our children are safe, so that our friends are sheltered, so that our borders are open. I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart.
Welcome back to the Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. We're here with Brittany Floyd. Thank you for standing for love with us today, especially today for Dorothy's birthday. We appreciate you all being here, and I really appreciate having Miss Brittany here. And let us dive into some deeper. This is a serious show here. We're holding it together, girl. We haven't acted up once.
I know. I've just been trying to keep my composure this whole time. Except at the beginning, I was acting a fool a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all right. That's what we're just Project Joy. If you're not watching Project Joy, guys, by the way, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Make sure you guys are watching that. Starting in September, Brittany's going to be one of our regular co-hosts for the show, adding to Olivia Ambani and Trista Polo, who, by the way, is on the show on Monday. But make sure you're getting a regular with that, because there is no reason that you shouldn't be starting your day with a little bit of joy. And we act up over there.
Yeah, and not to mention, that's like one of the things that helps me get out of bed in the morning. I mean, other than now, like, we've been meeting in the gym. Some of you all don't know, but me and Jessica and Teresa have been meeting in the gym every morning for almost 4 consecutive weeks now. Woo, go us! Yeah. But it is really a triple shot of good vibes. So through Project Joy. So I'm happy, and I'm glad to be able to be a part of that as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, when I said, in the beginning, that Brittany is really like, she's a celebrity behind the scenes, because she's involved with everything. And I've said this, gotten mushy on Project Joy before about this, but Brittany is the best cheerleader on the planet. And I always feel so supported in everything. It was supported in a really healthy way, supported in like, I got your back, but let's also talk this through. Like, let's, and I just want to say thank you very much on a personal note for that, because it is so helpful to have someone that you're close to that also wears a lot of hats. You get it. And it's like, okay, we can get really upset about stuff and then be like, okay, moving on.
Yeah, and I mean, you do the same thing for me. The support is endless, and that comes from you as well. So I'm definitely appreciated. It's been a long time coming that it's been reciprocal, So I'm glad that I found my tribe. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So tell everybody what you're currently working on right now. What are some of the projects that you have underway? We'll start with that.
Oh, I got a lot of things coming out. I got a list of things. I will first start with I'm currently working on a barnyard collection. It's kind of like a fun, abstract way for me to paint barnyard animals to express my love for animals. And it's also got some spiritual symbolism in there as well. So I have just finished the second piece, so I'll be releasing that here within the next couple of days. And then I am also we've been working on a book together called There Will Be Hugs. It's a family book that we've been putting together that I illustrated. So stay in tune for that. We have craft circles twice a week, and then also I also have I also have a class coming up October 2nd called Harnessing the Energy of Color, and it's just going to be basically me teaching you color therapy. So different ways of color therapy. So
we're so excited. We're so excited for that. Yes, it's going to be on the calendar soon for the Breakthrough Show Network, and you'll be able to get registered for Brittany's class. You can always pop in the craft circle. She's in there with, in her office sometimes just having office hours. By the way, if you have not visited the breakthroughshownetwork.club and checked out all of our virtual spaces, it's like, imagine you walking up to a building where the coolest people on planet Earth work. Okay.
Exactly.
And you could just walk in, by the way, and go to every single office, just say, hey, Miss Brittany, good to see you. Maybe paint something for a minute, come down to my office and say hi, hop into Craft Circle with Brittany, co-working. It's the best time to just come and hang out there sometimes. And thank you, Brittany, for doing all you do behind the scenes. And now in the spotlight. I'm just saying from now on, from here on out, we need to stop. Brittany is no longer associated with behind the scenes.
I'm really not anymore. Yeah. That's a breakthrough. That is a breakthrough.
Yes, we know about that here. That's something we do really well around here is breakthroughs. By the way, Miss Teresa was joining us out there today. Miss Danielle's joining us. Good to see you, Danielle. Of course, we got Tracy holding it down out there. Miss Kim is here. We got Mr. Rick out there. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. So when it comes to creativity, what words of wisdom do you want to leave our audience with today?
Oh, just go for it. And I said that, before, just say yes to creativity. Say, it's just a way for you to express yourself and to explore deeper parts of yourself. So just do it. Just go for it.
Just do it. They should hire you over at Nike. I'm just saying.
Just waiting.
That's happening. It's happening right now. Oh,
you hear that, Nike?
Yeah. By the way, we're not currently sponsored. However, no, I love that. And obviously, everybody can visit you at sacredyandsecrets.com. What can they find when they go to the website, Brittany?
Oh, you'll find a gallery of my canvas paintings and wood paintings, and then also a gallery of press-on nails. And if you're interested in purchasing a custom piece, you could also fill out the form on the website as well.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here today, Miss Brittany. I think pretty soon we will have had you on like every show.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I say that, and that's another thing, boosting confidence. It's really helped me push past my comfort zone. It's really pushed me out there. So woo woo.
Right off the cliff.
Yeah.
There she goes. There she goes. Thank you so much for being here today, Brittany. We've had a really great conversation, and Brittany's journey from discovering the beauty in press-on nails to becoming a spiritual artist and healer is truly inspiring. Brittany's story reminds us of the boundless possibilities that creativity offers and how it can lead to profound personal breakthroughs. Brittany, thank you again for being my guest today, thank you for being a friend. That's it.
Hey.
I'm just so grateful to have you in my life. And thank you for being here and sharing your journey, letting us get serious for an hour here today.
Yeah.
Very serious. We could do that too. We could do hard things.
We could do real hard things.
That's it. So your dedication to creative self-expression and empowerment is a beacon of light for all of us. So thank you for your example and the work that you do in the world. To all of our viewers, thank you for joining us today. We won't have an episode next Friday, but we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for another amazing episode. And until then, I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thank you again, Brittany, for being here. And I want to remind you guys to make every day a great day for a breakthrough. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.